Well, I'm Seree Nonthasoot. I serve at the moment as a member of the UN Committee on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, and I was formerly the representative of Thailand to the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights from 2013 to 2018. It depends. I mean, we have two broad responsibilities. On the one hand, we have promotion mandate, and the other hand, we have protection mandate. We have been very, very effective using our convening powers to exercise our promotion mandate to raise awareness of human rights and its development. On the other hand, I think we are lagging behind in terms of protection, because the TOR, or term of reference, which spells out our duties and responsibilities, does not give clear parameter or borders or detail of the protection mandate, which has given rise to the debate on whether we can do that. And by protection mandate, I mean a number of things, from receiving communications, from conducting investigation, and from providing remedies to victims of human rights violation in ASEAN. And we celebrated our 10th anniversary in 2019, and at that time we conducted assessment of our effectiveness, and we came to realize, of course, that the protection mandate is still lagging behind, and this is a challenge and a room for improvement, so to speak. So I would say, in short, that we have been very effective on the promotion side, but less effective on the protection side. The broader issue is how you reconcile and how you give weight to domestic affairs. Of course, human rights are usually, human rights situation is usually comes with political consideration. Your question is whether reticence in intervening, but you have also have to define interference. Talking about situation is not interference. Sometimes we need only to talk and examine. My personal experience has been that we interfere all the time with situations of our member states because we are talking about it. So if they consider this as kind of interference, yes, we interfere all the time. Of course, we can't send anyone into your country without your permission. So we are not interfering physically, but we are talking about the situation. And why do we need to talk about the situation in the first place? Because it affects us. If you can't live if you live in a country where you can be disappeared, how can you form a community? How can we trust your legal system to function effectively? So we need to talk about the effectiveness of the protection of human rights. I think that's the bottom line. But we are not interfering in the sense of sending, or launching a missile into your country. That would be aggression. So I think we have to be careful when we talk about, and be clearer about when we talk about the provision pertaining to non-interference. And when they are not pleased with other countries making reference to the situation in their country, they would say this, that you cannot interfere. Of course, we cannot interfere physically. We need to make ourselves credible in the eyes of the international community. In the European Union, you talk about it all the time. You talk about situation in Poland, you talk about situation in Hungary and in Greece. In Africa, you can even expel a member when an unconstitutional change of regime occurs, like in the case of Sudan. In ASEAN, we are seeing a recent development which is very encouraging, because we are saying that if you are not cooperating with our community, you need to bear with the consequence. And in this case, we are not allowing your political authority to join the debate or the discussion. Oh, significantly. And I think that we don't have collective data and this is one of the issues. We know the issue of haze, which is happening, every year. We know the severity of cross-border and transboundary pollution. But less known to us is the effect of climate change to some of us. But countries like Thailand, we fully realize that climate change is real and affecting our lives. Look at the flood that we are suffering from right now. Look at the change of climate pattern. When we expect rain, we don't see rain, we see drought instead. So it is real, and it's affecting the majority of us, because the majority of us are agriculturalists. So we depend on agriculture, and the pattern of, look at the sugar industry, which is a major industry in Thailand. Sugarcane depends on water. So if drought happens, your harvest is devastated. So climate change has real impact. What are we doing with it is more important. So in COP26 in Glasgow, the Prime Minister of Thailand is making a pledge that we are going to reduce the emission by 40% in 2030, and that's a significant pledge. But your question pertains to ASEAN, and this is a next step. So if one country is making this kind of pledge, why can't other countries, why shouldn't other countries belonging to the same area making the pledge? Because we can't achieve net zero alone, because we have, the effect of trade among this region is real. So we need to make a collective pledge or collective cooperation to make sure that the goal that we set is regionally achieved and implemented. Definitely. At the moment, Myanmar has been sent a very strong signal that unless it cooperates meaningfully and effectively, it will not be allowed to engage in ASEAN. The ASEAN membership is a ticket for Myanmar to say to the world that it does not care about other countries apart from ASEAN. But now we are saying to Myanmar that, we are not your refuge. You need to be accountable for your action, and you can't stand with other major powers. Myanmar is saying that it has two refuges. One is ASEAN, the other is China. And China is taking a cue from ASEAN as well, because we bear the burden of proximity and burden of membership of Myanmar. And by acting in concert vis-a-vis Myanmar, the signal is clear to Myanmar that, unless it redresses its action and comes to terms with the consequences of what it did to the Myanmar people, it will not be welcome to at least to the regional community and to the international community as well. I think there are a number of issues. The first on the agenda is how to make the mechanism of human rights in ASEAN more effective. We have increasing number of human rights issues stemming from regional cooperation. Look at human trafficking. By increasing trade volume comes with the consequences of human rights trafficking. How can we come to terms to prevent and to mitigate the risk from trade liberalization in ASEAN and prevent human rights violation, to make our mechanism more effective? That is the highest on the agenda. And to make this real, I think there are a number of ways to do that. One is to review and revise the terms of reference of the AICHR to make it much more effective. This is high on the priority of the agenda. And I think beneath that, the priorities would be thematic issues that we need to push together. Climate change is a perfect example, and business and human rights is a good candidate. Personally, I worked also on the issue of rights of persons with disabilities, and this seems to have been welcomed very well by ASEAN community. But and I can explain that because they think when they look at persons with disabilities, they think that these people are recipients of welfare. So they welcome this kind of agenda setting. But I come from human rights background, so I'm saying that I come with a sense of responsibility and not charity. So we are not doing because we are giving them something, but we are exercising our duty toward them, toward persons with disabilities. And this is not well known, but it has come to be known now that it's through the sense of responsibility and not charity. So maybe we can, by embarking on mainstreaming the rights of persons with disability, we can change the mindset of people, not only through the mindset of social model, of charity models to social model on persons with disabilities, but to allow people to see human rights from a new perspective as well. And I think that should be the priority as well.